Oh, taking water.
Yeah, yeah, so it's they need to it's one of the so I said we put a dam liner underneath to capture the water. So the man-made, we made it out.
It's not like the stick.
Yeah. So then here that's the interesting bit here. So here is very interesting. So this is it's made, the guys here made this. We made this. You didn't get anyone from outside. This was not made by somebody contracted to make it. This was made by the guys here. So we constructed this as a monument of a replica of the Great Zimbabwe, where the name comes from. So it's a replica of the Great Zimbabwe in Masvingo province. So on the African continent, there are two significant, most significant historic sites, which is the Egyptian pyramids. South of the Sahara is the Great Zimbabwe. They come next after the Great Pyramids of Gaza in Egypt. So they were built around the 13th century, around that time, 13th century. But most people think there's only one in Zimbabwe, but there are up to 500 of these similar structures around the country. So there's people think, oh, they were not built by Africans, but so who made these 500 across the country? So they are there for a reason. So the towers, and then here you have the Great Zimbabwe. So the theory is that it's a fish eagle. Some people think it's the fish eagle, the one we saw in the Chobe. People think it's a fish eagle that is resembled by this. So the way found, I think there were about 8 of them. The way found in the Great Zimbabwe, and I think a couple still remain in Zimbabwe. Some are in Cape Town and all different places around the world. So this is an emblem for Zimbabwe. It represents Zimbabwe. It's Zimbabwe bird. Zimbabwe bird. And we made them here. This was made here on site. It is to show people the history of the country. And I want to show you one more interesting thing here. You have this. I'll have the view to touch this. To have this. These. The sun is reflecting, or you can see the signs. So you're going to have to zoom. The cameraman needs to zoom. These are called zodiac bowels. Zodiac bowels. They were found in Great Zimbabwe by discoveries. People were that were explorers that were coming to Zimbabwe, and they came across the Great Zimbabwe, and then they found these things. But the interesting thing is they reflect a lot of story. So you can have a few of it. They're heavy. You're going to need a bit of strength. They're very heavy. They're made of stone, and this is exactly how they were made.
They're hot.
They're hot as well. These are replica. They're replica. The originals are across the world in private hands. I don't think the Zimbabwe has capacity to bring them back. They're in people's private collections. So, but the explorers were posing with them when they took them. So we took the images and zoomed them and then reconstructed them as a replica, so that people can actually see, because the originals are in private hands. So it's difficult for people to collect what's already being collected. But interpretation has been made. So they show astronomy, which shows that the people around that time were quite clever. They knew seasons, they knew the stars, Nematsatse, and all those things. So the stars, they see Mars close to Earth, they would actually put it into these things. And the crocs, you can see crocodiles, you can see totems, you can see spears. They were put into these zodiac bowels. You can see baboon, so you can tell they could write the whole story of how they lived. And they end up there, and the back as well. something that looked like a crocodile. But there's an interesting story that we find at Great Zimbabwe that is never known. Even the people in Zimbabwe, most of the people don't even know. So Mapungumabwe was the first settlement. Mapungumabwe is in South Africa, Limpopo province of South Africa. This is where the Venda people live now. So there's a relationship between the people in Zimbabwe and the people in Mapungumabwe. So those in Mapungumabwe, when the explorers came there, they also got plates like this. So their bowls like this. Okay. They found them and they were exactly the same as the ones found in Zimbabwe and South Africa. Yeah. So that you don't need anyone to explain to you. It shows that they're the same people. Yeah. And they also pray to the same ancestor. So that's how people can tell who they are. So that's that and that. But these are replica. People might think they're originals. The originals are in private hands. So we made them and they live here. They are not for sale, and but there to show the history of Zimbabwe. So yeah, so that's that. Very interesting, and that's the Great Wall around.